Hey, my consulting business makes me 500 grand a year in profit, and this right here is a daily video series where I'm building it in public right in front of your eyes. And I always start by answering some questions, meaning that this right here is the channel you're currently watching. So if you have any questions for me, you can jump down in the comment section and then ask me any question that you might have, and then I'm happy to help you out. When I've answered some questions, then I'll run you through some business stats, which is basically just me filling out this sheet right here every single day. It tracks the growth of my social channels, but also how much money that my business is making. And then last but not least, I just run you through a few minutes of strategy, which is basically just me thinking out loud and brainstorming on how I'm planning to take my business to 2 million a year. Because the last 2 years, I've averaged 500 grand a year in profit. I feel like my business is very healthy, very good foundation, and I have the time and energy to take it one step further. I took my first coaching business to 2 million a year, but I did it with 36% profit that I had to split with a business partner and 14 full-time employees. So it was a great learning, but I'm more happy about how I'm doing things now. So welcome, people. I always filter comments for newest here, and then I find a comment that I haven't interacted with. For example, Mehdi saying, "Thanks a lot for your answer." I got you, brother. Hopefully it made sense. Then Forbes here says, "You are a real one, man. I'm always seeing these consultants and growth operators, maybe even like yourself earlier, scaling fitness coaches to 6 figures. I heard a lot that scaling coaching is far more easier to scale than, for example, agencies. But why do they not have their own coaching business which they scale up?" So some of them had a coaching business before, but instead of growing more, they started operating with other coaches. Yeah, bro, I think it depends on what kind of business that you want to build and the life that you would like to have. I know personally, I have some friends that are growth operators, and it's because that they don't like to create content and be the face of a brand, so to say, and like deal with the client work that comes with it, etc. And then there are coaches who would never want to get into agencies because they're more creative people and human-minded and these kind of things, and they want to avoid the operations because they're not strong there. So I think, bro, it's like people will always make it seem better than it is on the internet. At the end of the day, they're selling you a shovel, right? Which is completely fair. Like, game is game. I just think that you have a large responsibility whenever you sell information and whenever you talk about business and business models. I think I've built my entire brand on trying to make sure that I give as much context as possible. So meaning that I'm showing the upside and I'll show you what's possible, but I'll always be the first one to tell you what it took to get there, because in life anything is possible and you can make it happen, but only if you're willing to sacrifice the exact same things that the person that achieved a certain thing that you'd like to do did. So that's just very important to do. And like, always take it with a grain of salt. So like scaling to 6 figures, it's like, yeah, but like 6 figures in revenue, like what's the profit, what's the delivery, what's the 6 figures all paid in full for a 12-month fitness program, meaning that when we divide the 100 grand in a month out on 12 months, you averagely made like 8.5K over the course of the year when you consider delivery. So it's like, always have a good like bullshit detector, what I like to call it, when you're on the internet, and then like take what's useful and then leave the rest. That's kind of like how I want to go about it, because like, yeah, it's very much doable to scale businesses to 6 figures a month. Like, I've personally done it a few times, and like I have clients that I have like 10 clients who's made it past that mark. But it comes with pros and cons, you know. It's like, it sounds really cool that my first coaching business did 200K a month, but it's like, I had 14 full-time employees, you know, spending 50 grand a month on ads. I had a business partner. We had a department in Germany. We ran like a white label, go high level connected to it as well. And it was like, it's a big operation and very complex and in that time of my life, it was a very big stress factor for me. So it's like, you just have to always look at it from kind of like all sides, you know, so you get the full picture. Because like, when you're new in the space and you're very naive, you always see only the good stuff, and then like you don't really understand the back of the metal, kind of. And there are two sides to a coin. So yeah, that's my 2 cents, brother. Then Ho here says, "Thanks as always for great answers. My question is, across everyone you've helped, what's the biggest difference between the people who take real action and build genuinely healthy businesses, and the ones who don't take action and never get the same result?" That's a great question, man. And probably the question that has always kept me up at night, because ultimately I want all my clients to win and succeed. And when I say win and succeed, it's very subjective to the individual person, right? It's very, very different from person to person which goals they have and also what they're willing to sacrifice to hit the goal. But ultimately I exist to compress time, meaning to get people to where they want to be in also the way and the vehicle and using the method that fits their life and priority and the season that they're in, if that makes sense. So like, but general habits that I want to take down is that like they're very risk averse, right? They're willing to take big bets on themselves. They invest in their business. They invest in themselves. So like investing in your business means ad, team, content, basically any money that goes into fuel business growth only. But they're also really good at investing into themselves through knowledge and network and the right people and the right rooms. So like they understand that the most asymmetrical bet you can probably make in life is into yourself. I kind of have to say it because I make a living from selling my knowledge, and both through my agency but also through my consulting business. But it's just also from a very honest personal perspective. I've spent more than like I think 80,000 US dollars on myself, and when you look at the amount of revenue that I've generated both in my personal finances but also like business revenue, it's been quite exponential compared to what if I had taken the 80 grand and then put it in the stock market for 7% a year. So like risk when it comes to investing in business, but of course also into themselves. Then it's like they're incredibly good at like understanding short-term actions, but also doing long-term thinking, meaning that they understand how they make money this month and next month by, for example, sales calls, outbound, pipeline, making the right offers and call to actions. But all of the clients that I see and work with that gets the largest upside, usually a year or like 8 to 12 months into our relationship of working together, is people that start in month 1 building long term. So content, personal branding, opening up YouTube, email list, starting to run some ads, starting to test new offers, things that isn't guaranteed to work within the first quarter, but definitely works over time because you've seen it so many times, right? And then I would say the third thing is probably like execution. You know, like they get stuff done even though that it might be cringe, even though that it might be hard, even though they haven't tried it before, they're willing to do it and they just get it done and they don't worry too much about what other people think. Like they probably do deep down, right? But like they still get it done. So like if you have high risk aversion and you understand that, hey, it takes money to make money and you bet on yourself, you bet on your business, you have very high execution, both like short but also long-term tasks. And then number 4, if you can delay gratification and continue to show up every single day and like understand that rent is due every single day. It is a highly competitive field. If you can say yes to all 4, you're basically guaranteed, and I say guaranteed with a grain of salt because I don't want to guarantee anything, but you're highly likely to succeed and reach the goals that you have for yourself and for your business, I would say. So hopefully that makes sense, brother. Let's get you a setup, mate. By the way, I appreciate you sharing this much info and guidance. No, thank you, brother. I don't need a setter, my man. A lot of people correlate a setter with like 100% positive, meaning that on paper, having a person that reaches out to your followers and leads, both warm and cold, it is great. It's the most personal channel for people to ask questions and get nurtured because it's a one-to-one communication channel. And 3, it's commission only, so it's kind of like it's a no-brainer when it comes to investment. But the thing is that people don't understand that there's also another side of the coin, meaning that I would lose a lot of my clients if I reached out and was needy because I'm the one reaching out, like, hey, what made you follow? And like, hey, what's your struggles? It's like a lot of my clients come to me because I'm the exact opposite. They're fucking tired of setters. They're tired of people don't wanting to give them the price. They're tired of people objection handling. They're tired of people doing guarantees. They're tired of people having short-term offers. So like with my positioning in the market and what I, Fred, believe to be true, a setter is like over on the other side. It doesn't make sense for the things in my business and for what I do. It's correct, Harry, that a setter works in many businesses. In my agency, every single client that we work with has a setter because it's a business to consumer offer where we're selling to people that is regular average people wanting to get in shape or wanting to get their first property or whatever it might be. So there a setter makes sense because they're not sophisticated. They don't know what an appointment setter is and they need more hand holding because they're beginners. But my audience, my clients, makes 15 to 20 grand a month already. They're sophisticated. They're like, my positioning is like, I try to go against the overall market because I do not believe that information is supposed to be sold. I believe that information is supposed to be bought, meaning that my clients make their own decisions. They don't need to talk to a setter. They don't even need to jump on a sales call. They just need to know that the path that I'm walking is the path that they would like to follow as well. And I'm a good example, and I'm the first-hand example of the path working, and working meaning it works for me, where I want to go and what I'm willing to sacrifice in order to get there. And all of my clients are the same. So just, again, it's about the context. It's about having the full understanding and seeing the full picture. So that's why I don't have a setter and why I'm not planning to get one. But I appreciate it, Harry, man. Then Omar says, hey Fred, thanks for answering my previous question. 3 months ago, I joined a program that is helping me to launch a school community, and they recommended the strategy below. If I'd find you first, I'd probably work with you instead. Hey, don't worry, my man. 2 questions. This strategy needs a lot of views to feed the leads into a WhatsApp group before launching the paid community. Should I be optimizing purely for reach right now instead of my usual quality first approach? I need volume but haven't cracked how to get more views. The funny thing is that you don't need views. It's literally what I tell my own clients, but I feel that for this WhatsApp strategy, views are required. What's your take on using a WhatsApp group to warm people up before a school launch? I would say that the level of warm up before a school launch, what determines that is probably the price of the school. If it's a high ticket school, yes, the sales journey is usually longer, and then having their WhatsApp as a direct point of contact is a big pro in my opinion. It very much depends on market. For example, in Scandinavia, no one uses WhatsApp, for example, so I would use something else there, but hopefully your market does, brother, and I'm sure they are. So I would say that's my only concern. It sounds like there's a lot of friction, which probably means that the price will be sort of high ticket, which I hope for you, Omar, because in my opinion, the best way to scale is to sell something high ticket and get a handful of people in, or 10, depending on price. Give like 5 to 10 people an incredibly intimate experience, and usually more time with you means more results for them, meaning happy clients, cash flow for you. You invest cash flow back into brand and ads to increase the volume, increase your demand, and then you're the one kind of like balancing the supply. So like how much one-on-one do you want to sell, and like the pricing and the packages. And then, for example, probably in 3 or 4 years, I'm launching a school, right? When I have 100,000 on YouTube, when I have 200K on Instagram, then I'm probably gonna launch a school, a low ticket recurring, because I have so much demand and so much volume. But until then, I don't see any point in it as of now. So I'm hopefully, yeah, man, I don't know if it's a low ticket running here. I'm thinking of structuring offers like you do. School is the low ticket entry, then upsell to group plus a done for you option, where it actually record the videos for the client and run the whole strategy for them. Does that latter make sense? Or does the low ticket help sell the high ticket one? Very much depends on who you're selling to, brother. I like leading your communication, and I like leading your marketing with the highest ticket option that you have. So like my leading offers in my marketing is my one-to-one and my inner circle group. And then for the people that isn't a good fit, I redirect them to tools. I haven't promoted my tools, not even once, like publicly. I've only like sent it to people that has randomly found it, has bought them. But I also send it to people that isn't, where I feel like they're too early for Fred's Inner Circle. I'm like, hey, take my tools. It's a really good price. It's probably the best $397 you'll ever spend. And that's how I go about it. But I think, Omar, I need your price, and I need the offer. I need the deliverables time frame to kind of like understand. The thought process here is good of like ascension model. But to be fair, like I really like the high ticket when you have like not that much demand. And then because like usually, as I say to people, like your offers will reveal themselves, right? So like typically you start here with like an agency, right? And then like people start asking for some consulting. So then you do one-on-one. Then like you get too many one-on-ones, so you don't want to do that. So you get people into group. You start seeing patterns in what people need. So you build tools. And now you have so many tools that it's like, okay, how can I do something? So you start doing workshops, right? Whereas this right here is kind of like, it's demand, the arrow here. So it's like, I don't like starting up here because like, I've just seen it go wrong too many times. Whereas like the low ticket one, it sounds really sexy, I agree. And people buy this, then they want more, but it's like, fuck, it's also about how that low ticket thing is structured. So yeah, Omar, I think, I'm not too sure, my man. And this is not for me to say that you should doubt it or anything. With anything, when you make decisions, it's like you have a thesis, right? There's something that you believe where the market is going or what you have available, your offer, your audience. And then like you create an offer and you create content that's to support it for a certain period of time. You set yourself some goals of input and some goals that you can measure for output. And if you're happy when the deadline hits about the numbers and the input and everything, you continue. If you're not happy, you either feedback it or you do something else, right? So I think you probably need this thing to like play out, Omar, but like it's just because like I come from a background that is opposite of that route. So I'm of course very biased towards what has worked well for me, and that is the things that I'm preach, right? Because that's where my conviction is, because that is what worked for me. But ultimately, brother, just focus on good content, focus on clear positioning with like who you help, how you help them, and how you're gonna do it. What are the next steps? Because like an authentic brand that people trust, and you caring a lot about your clients, and you becoming better every single day when you show up to work, then if you have those three things, then the funnel that you're running or the products you're running is like the last 50% probably in terms of the pricing and the deliverables and like time per client, speed to result, financial engineering and so on. So yeah, brother, I wish you all the best, man. It's an interesting case. I would love to get more context. I really would. And that is it for the questions, people. Thank you so much. The next thing we have on the agenda, people, is business stats. So it's me filling out the sheet every single day. So what we do is that we make a new date here, and then we fill it out. So daily updates is at 699. We're close to the 700 mark. My main YouTube channel is currently sitting at 9342. There we go. My Instagram is currently sitting at 26966. My newsletter is 1434. Oh, sorry. 1434. There we go. And yesterday, no revenue. Why do I open the wrong tabs? That is absolutely criminal. There we go, people. For strategy, just wanted to let you know that there's a new update out on YouTube. Don't know if you've seen it, but a lot of you create content and run your business like I do, or at least want to. So I thought it would be good information just to spend a few minutes here before I need to go. There's a new update out on YouTube, people, and it is basically the way that they count their views. Before on YouTube, it was more about people clicking on the video and then watching some of the video that would count as a view. I can't remember how long, but like actively clicking the video and like watching more than a second. But now, just if I hover my hand on a YouTube video, it counts as a view. So it's like there's a new view update out on YouTube. And I think the best example that I can give you is through my own analytics here. So the way that I usually look at my analytics is that what I care the most about is my watch time, because I don't really care about how many views I get. I care about the right views and people watching my videos, because that means that they're spending time with me, which is ultimately how you shorten a sales cycle from a stranger to a buyer, right? It's the more time they spend with you, the more likely they are to pay you and become a client, which is the ultimate goal for me to creating YouTube. It's to give a lot of value out into the world and show how I do things, my ways of doing things. And hopefully people see value in it, that they want to become a client and then get all the implementations and direct access to me, right? So I like to look at watch hours and watch time. I like to look at views in correlation to watch time, all right? So as you can see here, views, right? Yesterday was the highest view day in the entire month on my channel. But when I go into watch time, it was on like the medium, kind of like a little bit less than average, right? Because you can see I get 1,000 watch time, watch hours on average per month, meaning 33 a day. And yesterday was like 30. So this is a very good example of how this update is going to play out. It's that all channels will spike in views, right? Because like they're now calculating views in a different way, but it's not gonna correlate into watch time and good viewers in a sense. So it's just, again, YouTube will become more like TikTok and Instagram, but like really focus on like views and these like vanity metrics, or like influencer metrics as I like to call them. So yeah, as you can see, right? Views are counted differently from the 27th of August. So that's just a good note for all of you, that like if you start to get more views, like for example here, right, like you can clearly see that it's starting to go up. It's not really because you have like better video performance. It's simply just because there's a new YouTube update out. So yeah, that's it, people. Thank you so much for watching this video. Ask me any questions down below if you have any, and then we'll see each other tomorrow.